Hi, this is the help video for Access Chapter 4. This is the prepare case for Part B. So I already have the file downloaded and the instructions downloaded. So we're on step number 2, which can be found on page 237 and 238 in your textbook. So we're switching from forms to reports, and reports can be built off of tables, but more often they're built off of queries. But we're going to start by using a table. And you can build it off a single table, off of multiple tables. So in this particular example, we are going to just do a single table report that just lists our employees. So we're going to use the report wizard, which I recommend always starting with the report wizard, just because it does so many things that are just tedious to do manually. So we're going to create, I'm going to close this up a bit, create, and then we're over here in reports, report wizard. So we find what table or query we're building this report from, and it's table employee. So we're going to modify the table or query that we're picking from, and it's table employee. We're then going to bring 3 fields across: first name, last name, and phone number. So that is very reminiscent of when we were building queries, right? We just kind of pick what we need. So we're going to go ahead and do next. We don't want to add any grouping levels to this. But we do want to sort. So we're going to do next on the grouping level, and then in the sort, we're going to sort by ascending by last name and then first name. So last name ascending, first name ascending. Next, they want it to be tabular and portrait. Tabular, portrait. Next, and then we're going to name it. And it's going to be called RPT Employee List. Finish. It puts it in print preview. So we want to go ahead and look. It's just a list of employees and their phone number. We're going to close print preview. It's going to take us to design view, which is what we want. I went ahead and got rid of the field list because I don't need it. So we named the report. Now in design view, add a label to the top left of the report footer. So this is very similar to what we did with the form. I need to open up the report footer. On the design controls, find the label, which is the slanty big A, little a. We're going to just draw a 2.5 inch wide. And we're going to say created by C. Smith. So there we go for that. We're going to edit this label at the report here, and we're going to change it to employee list. We're going to save it, and I always like to look at it. So now we have our new name, we've got our footer, and there's our report. So we can make sure it's saved and close it, and we are done with step number 2. Step number 3 is on page 239 and 240. So the scenario here is the manager would like a report that shows all employee names and their upcoming appointments. So if we think about that, that information is in 2 different tables. So we have to select information for more than one table, just like we did when we had the form and we had a main and a sub form. It's the same thing here with the report. So the main report would be the employee information, and then the appointment information would be the sub. So this way the staff members can help coordinate the services for a guest. They may be seeing more than one staff member in a day. Use the report wizard to create a report that contains the following fields. So the first thing we want to recognize here is that we have 2 tables. Once again, these tables have to be related, and we know they are because we already looked at that earlier. So we're going to pull these pieces of information while we're building this using a wizard. So create report wizard. The first table that we want is employee. So we want employee first name and last name. Then we're going to switch and find table schedule, and it's going to be service, date of appointment, and customer. So we pulled those from two different pieces of information, two different tables. So how do we want to view this? Do we want it by the like date of appointment and then everything, or by employee? We want it by employee. So it would be employee A, all of their customers were scheduled. Then employee B, all of theirs. Okay, so we're going to leave it employee. Create a grouping using date of appointment and modify the grouping intervals to normal. So we're going to put grouping level, date of appointment, and then if we go to grouping option, instead of an interval of the month, we want to say normal. Okay. All right, and modify the grouping intervals to normal. Sort the records. So we have to go to the next screen. Sort by customer. In ascending. Organize the report in stepped and landscape. Next. So on this screen, we're going to name it RPT employee schedule and finish it, and it looks good. All right, RPT employee schedule. Okay, I'm going to close out a print preview, and we are done with step 3, and we're going to move on to step 4. Step 4 says to go into layout view. So we're going to switch to layout view so we can see the data as well as modify it. So layout view allows you to change basic design features while the report is displaying data, so you can see the changes immediately. You can resize controls, add conditional formatting, change the titles and other objects in the report. So this can be found on page 245. So what we're going to look here is to see if the date is visible, and mine is all visible. Otherwise you could expand or contract the dates. Mine design view. I just think it's easier. So we're going to open up the report footer, and then in the design control, find the label, and we're going to add the same thing we've been adding, right? Created by C. Smith. Save, and we can look at it. So if we come down here, well, let's do print preview. Let's go to print preview. There's, well, let's go to the very end. There's our report footer, because the report footer only happens at the very end. It's not a page footer. So that's exactly what we want. So we're going to save that and close that out. So we're done with step 4. We really didn't have a whole lot to do there. I'm actually going to stop the movie at this point. We'll pick up starting with step number 5 in the next movie. Thank you.